What is that?
That's
Gods.
new transgender bathroom.
Gods?
A girl now?
He's not a woman, he's not a man, he is something that you'll never understand, but he would die for me.
Be careful not to misgender a deity. The Church of Sweden, in an attempt to demonstrate their moral relevance, has announced that God is gender neutral, and they plan to change their terminology used at their church to reflect this change. Instead of saying, "Our Father who art in heaven," they are now to say, "Our Parent who art in heaven." The National Church asks everyone to refrain from using terms like Lord and He, and instead just use the word God. This decision goes into effect in May of next year, 2018, and attendees will be expected to refer to God as only God, not as He, not as our Father, and not as our Lord, but as God and only God. This church has 6.1 million baptized members out of a local population of 10 million. Archbishop Angie Jacqueline, who leads this massive church, says that the church itself has been pushing for more inclusive language since 1986. So it took 30 years to make this change, to make this dream a reality. Just imagine what other things could have been done in this time. Over the course of 3 decades, a lot can happen, but thankfully, this church allocated the resources to seriously discuss whether or not the Lord would be offended if we continue to call it a He. Social justice seems to ruin everything. There should be little, if any, thought given to the gender assignment of a potentially imaginary being. Whether God is real or not isn't the point, but what is important is the meaning behind the stories and the symbolism. People are getting caught up in a meaningless detail, like claiming that we need to refer to somebody who might not even be real as a certain gender. What is this actually accomplishing besides confusing or frustrating members of your own church? Hey, Archbishop, most people just want to pray, most religious people anyway, in peace without identity politics making a presence within their church. What, is God a victim of abuse for being misgendered? My impression with this story is that the Archbishop had nothing better to do than complain about gender discrimination committed against a deity. Surely there is something much more meaningful that the church and the Archbishop can do with their time and effort that would be much more of a benefit to society than complaining that God is an it, not a he. You have to ask yourself, would Islam ever have this debate within their own mosque regarding Muhammad?